yield back.
Mr. Secretary, thank you. So what, in your time as the Secretary and the circumstances that you are under and engaged in, what do you assess as your most significant areas of concern for the VA? And what do you believe is working? Is there anything that you've learned that needs to be done differently?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think one of the most interesting things for me in the first 100 days is constantly fighting rumor and innuendo, much of which I'm sure we will hear today that I'm going to try and put to rest. But one of the things is I had to take it from a perspective of us being on the GAO list and looking at the past history, as I expressed to many of you during confirmation, is what is working right and what is not working right. And as we looked at this, what I found was a system, bureaucracy, that was broken. Here's an interesting stat for most of you that you may not know. I came into the office, and it took me a week and a half before our Human Resources Department could actually produce a list of all the employees that we have. A week and a half, because our systems were so broken and bureaucratically challenged. You know, we didn't address any of the, what I found out was we didn't address any of the major concerns. Wait times, which I just outlined in my opening statement, have gotten worse. Backlog got worse, all while we were adding people and all while we were adding money. You know, the inefficiencies are interesting. I'll just show you one example. Under the previous administration, they were trying to consolidate payroll. And payroll, across the board, we asked for a number from payroll. We got 230,000 as our employee base. Is who we were paying. Well, we know, obviously, we had almost 470,000. The reason is we had 50 to 60 of our hospitals still doing their own payroll instead of it all being centralized where it could be done in an efficient manner and make sure that we all have it where we need to go. The HR system was in disarray. Suicide, our death by suicide number has not changed since 2008, yet we're spending $588 million a year to look at that, and $2.3 billion in counseling and care. These are just the things that we have seen so far, and we've actually implemented to go forward and look at the things that we got to fix and move forward on those. But to simply say that where we came in was okay and needed tweaks was just simply not true, and veterans in this room and other places know that.
Mr. Secretary, you mentioned in your opening statement Inspector Generals. I've
Yes.
indicated, I think, in many conversations and certainly hearings in which VA staff are witnesses, that the return of an Inspector General is a high priority for me. What's the plan?
We're in favor of that as well, and making sure that the White House, and we've encouraged the Inspector General to be named and look forward to that being in place. I mean, again, we're looking at it as a metric of how we can get better. For the last 10 years, that has been the metric saying that we're at a high risk. So from our perspective, we welcome the oversight to make sure that we're eating the metrics that we need to do to take care of veterans.
And so, Mr. Secretary, your impression that you leave is that the White House, the President needs to nominate someone. Is that where we are?
That is the next step in that, yes.
Okay. I want to ask a specific question.
Okay.
Community care. I appreciate your attention to the Mission Act. We've been trying this committee that we believe is particularly important for veterans at risk for suicide and mental health issues, veterans who are potentially victims of overdose deaths. I wrote to the VA in January urging mental health residential rehabilitation treatment programs to be included under existing community care access standards to immediately expand access to those life-saving services to veterans across the country in the community. Can you provide me with an update on your progress to add mental health residential rehabilitation treatment programs to the Mission Act access standards?
Yes, and I think that is going through right now and adding those as we go forward, making sure that the VA and the veteran is going through the programs that have are suitable for the program it needs to be, and also taking care of the needs of the veteran. So that is moving forward. We agree with you that any opportunity that we can take to give more service to the veterans, especially in the mental health area. Also, Mr. Chairman, is something else to think about here as well. One of the things that I have, I didn't mention earlier, is there seems to be at times a difference in how we deal with the VA as opposed to how we deal with healthcare in general. And some of that's got, frankly, needs to change in the sense that the VA is the largest healthcare provider, but also we share the same challenges as the community does as well, with doctor recruitment, nurses shortage, doctor shortages, mental health workers, and those. So we're working those in our areas to make sure that we do have good community health community partners in this regard, and also hiring the best that we can. Also leveraging partnerships with DOD, but also looking at our nonprofits and our VSO to see how they can help as well. So it's a total approach to how we're looking at this, and want to continue to do that.
Blumenthal.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. You know, I listened to you recite